Let's have a French dinner party.
You mean I have to become a French chef?
No, my dear, no. French chefs seem to be born with a sixth sense about their food, almost inspired. Very few American cooks can match them at their own game. That's why most American home cooks with savvy use French recipes that are adapted to our own ingredients and skills. Their dinners have a beautiful French accent and no frustrations.
My French accent is very good.
Say something.
Rock, lobster, bordelaise.
Good. Let's have that as the first course for our dinner party.
Is it complicated? Will I need to work at it all day?
No, of course not. We never use party dishes that get the hostess hot and tired long before the guests arrive. This rock lobster bordelaise takes only 3/4 of an hour and is worth every delicious minute of that time. So that's the first course. Okay with you?
Of course. Then what?
Another wonderful dish, veal cutlets foyot. It's one of the few great French dishes an American housewife can make.
Do you have to keep calling me a housewife?
Sorry, that gay, warm-hearted, competent hostess can make.
That's very sweet, thank you.
With the veal cutlets foyot, how about small potato balls sautéed until delicately brown, and peas à la française? Tiny little peas cooked gently with lettuce leaves, small white onions, butter, and celery. Oh yes, I forgot, with a pinch of sugar also.
You mean those petits pois in cans imported from France?
Yes.
But there are tiny American peas in cans, too, almost as good and cost a lot less.
You're as thrifty as a Frenchwoman, or maybe.
Good French dinner rolls, too, but no butter with them. And my salad?
Not quite. Yours is a little over-seasoned for this menu. It should be nothing but a few tender greens, olive oil and wine vinegar, salt and pepper, as the French say, just enough to clear the palate.
But I prefer lemon juice in my dressing.
You're being very individualistic.
The French are individualistic, aren't they?
Okay, you win. So it's wine vinegar or lemon juice.
Merci, monsieur. And I suppose we have to go through the crepe Suzette act for dessert.
Let's don't. It's far too complicated for a home party. Leave that job to the better French restaurants.
Are you doubting my skill with a skillet?
I'm not doubting anything. Don't be so feminine.
Frenchmen prefer feminine women.
So do I. That's why I don't want you to get hot and bothered making crepe Suzette at your own dinner party. It's too tricky, too much business while you're supposed to be relaxed and lovely. Select something you can prepare ahead of time, like pears and sauterne with vanilla ice cream.
You really think I can be a relaxed and lovely hostess?
Yes, you know I do.
Very well, then. Au revoir, crepe Suzette. I'll meet you in a restaurant. We're dining at home with pears sauterne instead. Can we have petit fours also? I love them. They're so pretty and feminine and so French. Ah, the beautiful food of Paris. Those dishes and dishes of marvelous hors d'oeuvres stacked like a delectable mountain.
No hors d'oeuvres for this dinner. We are having the rock lobster, remember? The French don't usually serve hors d'oeuvres when the first course is a fish or seafood.
That's right. They don't. So we'll serve just aperitif, vermouth or sherry, things like that. But what if our guests don't like aperitif?
Then they can do what the French do the moment they arrive in the United States. Ask for a dry martini.
Or maybe chilled orange or tomato juice.
That'll be the day.
Are you belittling the French?
There you go again, being irrational.
And don't forget, very feminine.
Very. Just tell me, how could anyone belittle a country that invented a dish like rock lobster bordelaise? We had it in Bordeaux, don't you remember? It used to be made with crawfish. But French cooks found the crawfish too much trouble, so they switched to the lobster tail.
You mean even I could do it?
Looking for flattery? I'll give it. Yes, you can do it. But don't get the idea it's as simple as boiling eggs.
I hate boiled eggs.
But with your generosity and gift for making people happy in your home, you won't mind a little extra work.
You know something? At times you seem almost as gallant as a Frenchman.
Let's stick to French food. It's safer. You thaw the lobster tail slightly, then trim off the tail ends and cut away the thin underside membrane with strong scissors. After that, cut the tails crosswise into 3 or 4 pieces, but be sure you leave the shell on.
I'm with you. Go on.
Then you make the sauce. Butter, carrots, onion, white Bordeaux wine, stock from the lobster, tomato paste, salt, and cayenne pepper.
What do you mean stock from the lobster tails?
Like so. Melt the butter in a heavy skillet. Saute the diced carrots and chopped onions until soft, but don't let the butter brown. Keep watching the butter.
But you still haven't told me about the lobster tail or stock.
Don't rush me. Good French chefs resent being rushed.
I only asked you.
Oh, why are American husbands so patient? Well, anyway, you place the lobster tails cut in pieces shell side down into this butter mixture. Saute for 2 to 3 minutes, then turn and saute on the meat side for another 2 or 3 minutes. The dark green shells will turn reddish pink and the meat become very tender.
But that stock.
Remove the tails to a hot plate and keep warm. To the butter lobster stock, are you listening? In the skillet, add the white wine, tomato paste, salt, and cayenne. Return the tails to the skillet. Bring slowly to a boil. Cover. Reduce heat and simmer very, very gently for 5 minutes.
I'm entranced. Did you get that recipe when you were in Bordeaux?
No, it is the original French recipe adapted for American cooks.
Does it taste the same as the original?
Maybe not exactly, but it's a wonderful dish in any language, even for the hostess, who must be both cook and hostess at the same time.
Yes, but you see, I have an intelligent husband who helps me.
Flattery will get you nowhere, madame. I am not going to cook it. You are.
I should have married a Frenchman. They love to cook.
Too late. I've become accustomed to your cooking. But I will cut the tails into pieces for you. That job needs strong fingers, and I'll chill the wine to serve with it.
A dry white wine?
Yes, either a Riesling or a Grave or a Chablis, well chilled but not iced.
How about the rice? Will you please cook that? You always get it so dry and white. And how are you going to prepare the veal fourreau?
I'm not. You are cooking that, too.
A French husband would.
I am not a French husband, but this recipe is very, very French. It originated in a famous, almost historical restaurant in Paris. The restaurant was torn down to make room for a modern building, but the memory lingers on.
Difficult to cook?
No. French women often serve it at home. Goes into the oven 2 hours before the guests arrive and is served in the same dish.
What's in it?
Veal cutlets, butter, onions, bread, Swiss cheese, white wine, and consommé.
I'm getting hungry.
For 4 people, use 2 pounds of loin of veal sliced into 4 cutlets, seasoned with salt and pepper. Next, using a small, heavy skillet, saute the chopped onions in butter until a light golden brown. Don't brown it deeply. Next, mix the grated Swiss with the fresh breadcrumbs.
Doesn't sound difficult so far.
And then spread about a tablespoon of sautéed onions on each cutlet and cover this with the cheese and breadcrumb mixture.
But will it stay on?
Yes, if you press it down with the flat side of a knife. Now scatter the remaining onions over the bottom of an oven-proof dish. Carefully place the cutlets into the dish, side by side. Next, add the dry white wine and dot with butter. Bake in a modern oven for 2 hours, and that's that.
Don't you baste them?
Oh, yes, with the liquid in the dish. When that runs out, use consommé.
It sounds delightful. Is that another real French recipe adapted for American use?
More or less. It comes from Foyot's, of course, but was adapted by a friend of mine, Fernande Gavin. She was born in France. Now she's an American citizen and knows more about French cuisine than anyone I ever met.
Is she pretty?
Let's confine our talk to French cuisine.
Did you know lots of French girls before you married me?
I'll tell you about that after the guests go home.
Promise? What about the wine to serve with the veal?
I think it should be a light red wine like a Beaujolais or even a good rosé.
I'd like a nicely chilled dry white wine instead.
All right, we'll have both. Make it a real French night.
Can't you take your mind off French women?
Not when you keep reminding me of a French woman, affectionate, spirited, and a particularly good cook. And I think your green salads are the best in the world.
But you like wine vinegar, and I want lemon juice in mine.
I'm not complaining.
You're so tolerant. Really, you are. And it was thoughtful of you to insist on that pear dish instead of those tricky crepe Suzette, especially when I have to do everything myself except for the little bit of help you give me.
You're breaking my heart. But let's break a couple of eggs instead. The yolks are used in the wine sauce to pour over the pears.
What do you do with the pears?
Cook them in sauteed wine, sugar, and lemon juice, then keep in the refrigerator.
How about the wine sauce? Can that be made in the morning, too?
Oh, yes. Place 2 egg yolks in top of a double boiler, some sugar, and the same wine the pears were cooked in. Cook until the sauce thickens a little. Chill it. Keep in the refrigerator until ready to use.
Good. Then I won't have to rush around at the last minute. I'll be just as you said I should be when the guests arrive. Cool, serene, ravishing. Didn't you say that?
Not exactly in those words. Do you like to go to a dinner party where the hostess is frantic and red-faced with last-minute preparations?
Heavens, no. I feel embarrassed.
Nothing frantic about the pears. Use your beautiful crystal bowls. Place a layer of vanilla ice cream in each. Arrange a pear on top. Serve with the chilled wine sauce, either poured over the pear or served on the side.
Sounds almost indecently easy. But you will help me clear the table, won't you?
Don't I always when we have company?
Yes, but do you really like that woman?
What woman?
The one who knows so much about adapting French cuisine for Americans.
Very much.
Why?
Because she is a charming lady, and she can cook French food almost as perfectly as you do.
Spoken just like a Frenchman. Yes, I think we are going to have a lovely party.